Hey guys, Bruce Derringer Anime here. Hope you're doing well. I'm not, because I want to know what the hell is in the wildcard room. I'm of course talking about the wildcard room we see in chapter 94 of Blue Lock, and I got this idea for this video from Accomplished RIP on Reddit, who posted about it the other day, and a lot of people were theory crafting and everything like that. And it got me thinking about what this room could be, because we see it pop up once after the teams are assembled, right? All the final ones are assembled, and we see Shido, and we're wondering where Kunigami, who goes into the wildcard room, is. And after that, we move into the selection matches, and now we're in the match with the under 20. And a lot of people are wondering if that wildcard room is going to come into play now that we're in the full swing of a match, and maybe at the witching hour, the last moment, we need a little bit of a mix-up. You know, the Blue Lock team just needs something extra, something unprecedented. And here comes Kunigami out to the pitch, and Shido's like, oh, the boring guy with the left foot, he's nothing to worry about. And Kunigami busts out a new move, or, maybe a right foot shot, something like that. And it got me thinking that we don't know first of all, we don't know how many people are actually in the wildcard room. We don't know if it's just Kunigami, if it's everyone who's lost so far, if they have the choice, or if it's only... It'd be weird if it was only presented to people, like certain people, like maybe egos, like I like that guy, maybe I want to get more out of him, which would be strange for Ego, but we'll get to that. Because if they're exiting Blue Lock, right, wouldn't that room appear to everyone? Even if you didn't see the markers, wouldn't you see a separate hallway with that door right there? Or is it just, you're walking, and if the marker on the floor doesn't show up to you, that could be, to a separate storage area or something. You don't think about it, you're just leaving. My theory is that it shows up to a certain number of people who Ego likes, and maybe likes the wrong word because he's not like that. It's shown he is not, I take pity on this guy. Maybe it's shown to players who Ego thinks have the potential to be strikers who can delve further into their ego. Like, Kunigami's a nice guy, but it looks like he wasn't willing to give into his ego much. We didn't see that much in the story. He's a great striker, but he doesn't have that quote, Bachira monster, right? Bachira mentions that. He doesn't have that look of, I'm going to get out of my way, I'm scoring kind of mentality. Maybe it's weak, maybe it's hidden, it's buried. And I think maybe Ego is like, all right, I'm going to bring that out of you in this room. I think it's open to a select few people. I think I wish I could remember his name. It's I'll put it down here in the picture of him. It's the monkey brother, as I call him, the guy who didn't talk much. The brother the twin who didn't talk much. I think he's in there. I think it's people who Ego thinks have potential enough, and he wants to see the results. He's just curious more than he takes pity on them. My next question is, okay, if you have a certain number of people in there, and we don't know anything about it, what's the conditions? Because remember, Blue Lock it's basically a prison. It's a prison in the sense you could leave, but why would you? You want to be the best striker in the world, and if you fail, if you leave even voluntarily, you're crushed with your dream, right? And that's a perspective I want to provide if you're not a football fan. It'd be one thing if Ego said you can never play football ever again. And I'm talking about like a United States audience. We don't have, and for the NFL, right? NFL football, we don't have a World Cup, we have the Super Bowl. So I guess if you said, if this was like Ice Shield 21, it's like you can never play in the Super Bowl, you can never go to the NBA, you can never go to, the Major League, the MLB. So you can still play in lower leagues, but your final dream would be crushed. And that's what Blue Lock's premise is. That's why everyone's so manic and the pressure's always on. So what could the wild card room provide? What stipulation could come of it as a result of you failing Blue Lock, essentially? And I was thinking about it, and the reason why I mentioned the United States perspective is that you could still play in the Japanese league. You can still go to Premier League, the Bundesliga, the La Liga. You can still go to these other leagues. Blue Lock, Ego said that you're not barred from playing football if you fail Blue Lock. You're just barred from joining the Japan under 20, or the Japan World Cup team. That is the stipulation. So you could still, even if you fail Blue Lock and you come out like maybe you're one of the final 5 left, you're still a great striker by that point. So you could go to Premier League and do really well, or Bundesliga do really well. But then what would the stipulation for wildcard be? And my guess is, when we see it, if we ever see a flashback, we're probably going to see a Kunigami flashback. That's the big theory. My theory for the stipulation is the moment he walk in, he goes like, well, hello there, unpolished gem, or whatever phrase he's going to use. It's like if you fail out of this, if you don't come out of this by doing failure, you reach the failure state. We'll get into the success states, but the failure state, if you reach that, you cannot perform in any league ever again, no matter the country. That's the only thing I can think of. That's the only stake high enough to just because that's the only stake I could think of being worthy enough for the room. Because one, it's ego. Number two, it's what would be the purpose that you get free training on top of Blue Lock for failure? Why would you reward losing? That doesn't seem like ego. That doesn't seem like this manga that would just say, oh yeah, you get a Giallo free card, all your favorites are here. Or somebody you lost, they're back. Right. I think that the stipulation is you're barred from football, but I don't think it's going to be a process of elimination. I think he's going to have, my theory is he's going to have 4 or 5 people that if you survive this training, then you get another chance. You keep your chance of playing on a league team anywhere around the world. You're not barred from football forever. You're just, you can't join the under 20. You can't join the World Cup team. I keep saying under 20 because we're in the match, guys. Forgive me. You can't join a World Cup team. I think one person, Kunigami, is my guess, because why else would the author show him off? You get one more chance at Blue Lock. You get a wild card. You get a second chance to perform in this scenario. If you survive one, you survive the wild card. Step 1. Number 2 puts him in the match. I think you get to join in on the World Cup team. And I think that's where Kunigami is going to come in on this match. I think he's going to make an appearance in this wild card thing. He's going to make an appearance coming out of this wild card into this match, hence the term wild card, the Joker, right? The Joker card, excuse me, guys. You play that, and I think that's going to be the reward for making it through the wild card. Now I've seen a range of theories on what wild cards, like, I mentioned the success states earlier. What is it? You have to score as many goals as possible in a room with one ball, and you have to keep stealing the ball from other players. It's the same challenge. It's kind of like the first challenge I went through, right, when they were in the room, they had to hit somebody with the ball, except it's that, but you have to score goals using one ball, and everybody's in the room. That starts the process of elimination. It could be the same challenge as number 1 in the first round selection, right? When they're all split up, you had to score 100 goals and under. I'll put the time limit down. I couldn't remember the time limit, but you have to score a number of goals. But this time it's even harder, maybe a shorter time frame to show you're worth the wild card. Those are my 2 prevailing theories. I think it's going to be just you're put through hellish physical training 1, I'm talking GPP, general physical preparedness. I think you're put through that, and then I think you're put through the time constraint of whatever the first challenge was that you went through. Instead of 100 minutes or an hour, it's 30 minutes, and you still got to score 100 goals against maybe 2 goalies, something outlandish that shows you have the potential. And not only that, imagine that challenge, but coupled with the pressure, you can never play. We got to remember that fail state. You can never play football ever again in a professional manner. I'm sure he's not going to. Ego can force pre-football, but imagine that pressure of never being able to play in a professional league, on top of that test scenario, right? So now you're doubling up Blue Lock and meeting, but the reward is higher because not only do you get another shot at the World Cup team that you were not promised, but let's say you get another shot at joining the World Cup match that maybe Kunigami's made aware of. He's also, and everybody in wild card, if there are other people, not just Kunigami, you become such a better striker because that pressure is either going to break you, in which you weren't meant for it anyway, or you're going to come out a monster striker, even more monster than you were before training in Blue Lock. Because all these guys are all, like I've said, all these guys in Blue Lock could be aces right now. The strikers left could be, maybe except Inigami, I think. The monk, I don't think he could be, but a lot of other people could be aces of their own sports manga right now. They could all be really great players. They've advanced to that level. The final prediction of mine in this room is that it's going to bar you from being able to play in a league style, a pro league style, if you fail. There's going to be multiple people. There's going to be a few people who make it through that secondary condition mention where you can play in a pro league, but you're barred from the under 20 thing. But you get one person, the Joker card. I'm going to refer to that, the Joker card. Kunigami is my prediction because we've seen him, who makes it through the selection, then makes an appearance in this match. I think if for whatever reason the author doesn't pick Kunigami and he fakes us out, and whoever makes it through gets put in this versus under 20 match. That is my prediction. Because why else would you mention it at the assembly at that moment? Because then that gets into theory crafting of what's after this match. Like, let's say Blue Lock ties or wins. Do they make another... Do they go on to the World Cup? Does he start an under 20 World Cup tournament? That'd be pretty sick. Because you have to go somewhere. I think you have to go somewhere after this under 20 match. I don't think the manga is going to end just at this. But whatever comes after this, Kunigami, I think, has to make an appearance in the match. Unless Ego thought that this team's going to beat the under 20 team. No questions asked. He's going to beat the under 20 team, and then all of a sudden he has a B team. He has some sort of team he's been training on the side to get through that he somehow thinks is better than the under 20 team. That doesn't make any sense. So it would have to be in this under 20 match in which Kunigami or some X Factor makes it through the wild card system and meets up with the Blue Lock team in this under 20 match. That is my prediction for the wild card room. Other than that, guys, we only see it one time. There's not much else you can say about it. We only seen one person enter it. So theories are abound on whether or not it's going to show up. A lot of people don't know if the author is going to put it, like he forgot about it, but there's an artist and a writer. Like, the writer forgot about it, but it was only about 20 chapters ago that we saw it. He couldn't have forgotten about it that quickly. So I think it's going to make an appearance. It's just people are kind of impatient to see what it is, and it was only dropped once, so you know how that goes with manga. You get one frame and all of a sudden theories abound. So let me know what you guys think about the wild card room. Do you think something's going to come of it? Do you think the author forgot? Do you think Kunigami's going to come out in the middle of the match? Do you think he's going to show up again? What do you guys think about the wild card room? Thanks for watching, guys. And as always, if you like Blue Lock content, like, subscribe button. Thank you, guys.